So John, as well as being one of Jesus's best friends, is a really considered and thought through writer. He's really good at telling stories, at least in the way stories were told in his day and age. And his account of Jesus's life, his biography of who Jesus was, eyewitness and firsthand, he divides the sections up by beginning and ending each section with a parallel story, a similar story. And the first one is a prototype, and the second one is the real deal. The first one is the trailer, if you like, and the second one is the full-length video. And the last unit, he does exactly the same thing. And the closing story is Jesus' own resurrection. Like, that's the big climax, that's the big thing everything's been waiting for. Jesus has come back from the dead and he's alive. And the unit begins in John 11 with the resurrection of a guy called Lazarus. It's a prototype. It's meant to help us realize who Jesus really is. It's an amazing story in John 11. Jesus is a really good friend of Lazarus. Mary, Martha, Lazarus, they're siblings. Jesus, the four of them hung out together, spent loads of time together, really committed together. It describes Jesus as loving them and then them loving Jesus. So of course he's torn apart when Lazarus dies. It says, the shortest verse in the Bible apparently, that Jesus wept, literally 2 words, Jesus wept when he sees Lazarus in the grave. But what Jesus does is, in a remarkable way, is bring Lazarus back to life. He yells into a grave that contains a 4-day-old rotting corpse, Lazarus, come out. And his word is so powerful that Lazarus has to obey, even though there's no breath in Lazarus's lungs or blood in his body. Jesus' word is so powerful, he has to obey. And so he gets up and he's alive again, and he walks out. But remember what I said, that the story there is a prototype. It's the trailer to help us to understand the full-length film, Jesus' own resurrection, that comes later. And the key thing is what Jesus says, actually, to Lazarus' sisters when they're mourning their brother's death. He's not yet come back to life. And in John 11, 25 to 26, it says this. It says, Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die, and whoever lives by believing in me will never die. Do you believe this? Do you believe this? He's saying, look, one of the titles I have is, I am the life. I'm the life, says Jesus. I'm the resurrection. I'm the one that even though you might die, if you trust me, you'll live again. Now, I don't want to be morbid at these times at all, but the reality is, whether it's a worst case scenario or a suppressed and controlled scenario, is many of us are going to know loved ones, friends, family members who might die in this period. Now, that's true over any 6 or 12-month period. You know, people die. The death rate hovers at 100%, doesn't it? It's a when, not an if. But how many of us, like, really can say, but I know my life is secure. That even though I might die, I know that what comes next, I'll be living in that next world, that next eternity. And Jesus does this little Lazarus miracle and gets it recorded for us to read, to give us confidence. And did you notice what he hopes our response will be? He says, I'm the resurrection, I'm the life. Whoever lives by believing me will never die. And then he says, do you believe this? It's the Bible word for trust. Do you trust this? I'd love for you to ponder today your trust in Jesus, the life bringer from death.